Okay, who are there in the class? Let me see. Aditya, sorry, Aditya, Akshay, Ashutosh, Ayush, Hansel, Krishnendu, Kadir, and Priti. Okay, very good morning to all of you. Today we are going to discuss about stress and intonation. Okay. Um, I think we already discussed stress, but there were very few students in a previous class, and that's why I have decided to repeat this topic again. After that, we will move to our next topic, that is intonation patterns. Okay, and then we will also practice also. Okay, so we'll practice also. Let's start with stress, after that intonation, after that practice. Okay, so stress. Well, correct pronunciation is very important. If you pronounce correctly, you will be able to create a very good impression. Suppose you are giving your presentation or you are going for an interview. Everywhere you have to pronounce correctly, right? So, and for that, you should know how to give stress, how to put stress on proper words. And in our today's class we are going to discuss about stress and intonation patterns also. Okay, both are necessary for correct pronunciation. Now stress. At first we are going to discuss about sentence stress, after that word stress. Okay, sentence stress is very easy. Just you have to find out content words and grammar words, and once you are able to find out which are content words and which are grammar words, you will be able to put stress on proper words. Okay, now what is stress? Stress is when you pronounce some syllables more strongly than others. More strongly means more loudly, more clearly, and more slowly also. Sorry. Okay, so this is stress. Stress is when you pronounce some syllables more strongly than others, that means more clearly than others, more loudly than others, and more slowly than others. Okay, now here you can see some sentences and I am going to read those sentences. So listen to me attentively. First sentence: how about we go for a coffee this afternoon? I repeat, how about we go for a coffee this afternoon? Second sentence: my phone is broken, so I am going to buy a new one. If you listen to me attentively, you can find out or figure out that I am putting stress on some particular words. In the first sentence, I am putting stress on we go coffee this afternoon, and in the second sentence I am putting stress on phone broken going buy new one. Why I am putting stress on these words? Because these are contained words. Contained words means the most important words in a sentence, which give you the meaning of the sentence. In the first sentence, if you remove the contained words we go coffee this afternoon, then the sentence will be meaningless. See, how about for a? No meaning. So these are most important words and we should put stress on most important words, that is contained words. Okay, and rest are grammar words. Grammar words just don't carry the meaning of the sentence. There are some other sentences also, you can see examples. Okay, I'm going to read these sentences. I heard that the weather is going to be bad tomorrow. He has no idea what he wants to do after he graduates. Could you get some bread from the bakery on your way here? So, in these sentences, I am putting stress on contain words. That means most important words. And I want to tell you that contain words are very flexible. That means there is no, there are no particular rules to figure out which are contain words, which are grammar words. No, just you have to figure out which are most important words, and then you have to put stress on those important words. Okay, that means contain words. So contain words are flexible, don't worry about that. Now okay. So you can see that in a sentence there are some stressed words and there are some unstressed words. Unstressed words are pronounced at a lower volume and higher speed. Okay, and stressed words are pronounced more loudly, more clearly, and more slowly. Here in the sentence, I heard that the weather is going to be bad tomorrow, which are stressed words heard, weather, bad, tomorrow, and which are unstressed words I, that, the, is, going to be. So these are grammar words or unstressed words, and when we pronounce unstressed words, we pronounce generally at a lower volume and higher speed. I heard that the weather is going to be bad tomorrow. He has no idea what he wants to do after he graduates. So in this way you have to pronounce. Okay. Now you get idea about content words and grammar words. Fine. Now one important point is you have to give emphasis on proper words. Like in the first two sentences you can see okay, at first let me read. She doesn't live in Paris. She lives in Rome. She doesn't live in Paris. She lives in Rome. Here I am putting stress on the name of the place, that is Paris and Rome. Why I am putting stress on the name of the place only? Because in these two sentences, which is most important word? The name of the place. There is a confusion and I want to clear that no, she doesn't live in Paris, she lives in Rome. So here the name of the place is important, and that's why I'm giving emphasis or I am putting stress on the name of the place. In the last two sentences, the flight left at 10. I thought it left at 12. So here again I am putting stress on time, because here time is important. So in this way you have to put stress on proper words. You have to find out which is most important, and then you have to put stress on most important words. Now here is another interesting part of stress, that is shifting stress. Here you can see that stress can be shifted from one place to another. Maybe here you can see the three sentences, and all the three sentences are same. Okay, but when we are going to pronounce these sentences, we will pronounce differently, because the stress will be shifted from one place to another. Let me read at first. Are you going to Kolkata tomorrow? Are you going to Kolkata tomorrow? Are you going to Kolkata tomorrow? So all the sentences are same, but in the first sentence I am putting stress on are. In the second sentence I am putting stress on you, And in the third sentence, I am putting stress on tomorrow. But why? Because, let me explain. In the first sentence, when I am saying, are you going to Kolkata tomorrow? Here I want to know whether you are surely going to Kolkata tomorrow or not going to Kolkata tomorrow. So to me the question is important, and that's why I am putting stress on are. I want to know whether you are going to Kolkata tomorrow or not going to Kolkata tomorrow. So question is important, and that's why I am putting stress on are. In the second sentence, I want to know whether you are going to Kolkata tomorrow or some other person is going to Kolkata tomorrow. Okay, and that's why I am putting stress on you. So here the stress is shifted from are to you. Okay, that's why are you going to Kolkata tomorrow? In the third sentence, I am putting stress on tomorrow because place is important. I want to know, time is important, time is important because I want to know whether you are going to Kolkata tomorrow or some other day. So time is important, and that's why I am putting stress on tomorrow. So you can see that stress can be shifted from one place to another. Why? Because you have to give emphasis on proper words. Okay, most important words. At first you have to find out which are most important words, and then you have to put stress accordingly. This is called shifting stress. This is very interesting. Now you have idea. Yes, Dheeraj. Dheeraj wants to say something. Yes, Dheeraj, say.
Ma'am, why place is not important in this sentence?
Yes, Dheeraj, you are not audible. Please speak a little louder.
Why place is not important in this sentence?
In which sentence?
Kolkata. Kolkata.
Okay, Kolkata. Here, just you have to imagine the situation in the first sentence. Are you going to Kolkata tomorrow? Here you have to just imagine the situation. Here the speaker, that suppose I am the speaker, so I want to know whether you are going to Kolkata tomorrow or not going to Kolkata tomorrow. Here maybe Kolkata, if suppose Kolkata is important, okay, maybe. So you have to put stress on Kolkata. If you are saying that are you going to Kolkata tomorrow, that means I want to know whether you are going to Kolkata tomorrow or you are going to Kolkata, whether you are going to Kolkata or some another place. That means Kolkata or Mumbai or Chennai or some other places maybe, okay. So you have to put stress accordingly. In the first place, question is important, and that's why I am giving stress on are. Okay, you can put stress on Kolkata, but then the meaning of the sentence will be different. Okay, if you say are you going to Kolkata tomorrow, here you are putting stress on Kolkata, but the meaning of the sentence is different. If you pronounce in this way, are you going to Kolkata tomorrow, that means you want to know whether that person is going to Kolkata or some another place. Okay, so the meaning is different. If you put stress on some another words, meaning will be different. So you have to put stress accordingly. What at first you have to find out which is most important. Okay, what do you want to know, and then you have to put stress accordingly.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now you have idea regarding sentence stress. Okay, content words, grammar words, and shifting stress. Sentence stress is very easy because content words are flexible. Okay, now word stress. There are some rules regarding word stress, and before going to word stress, we have to know what is a syllable. Syllable is very important. If you want to put proper stress, then you have to know what is a syllable, and you have to divide a word into syllables. And how can you divide a word into syllables, we are going to discuss now. What is a syllable? A syllable is unit of pronunciation. It is the word or part of the word which is uttered by a single effort of the voice. That is, suppose the word conversation. Conversation. At first, pronounce the word or utter the word conversation. Conversation. Right. So you have to find out the unit of pronunciation. There are, in the word conversation, there are 4 units of pronunciation. Conversation. And syllable is unit of pronunciation. So there are 4 syllables, we can say there are 4 syllables in the word conversation. Remember, the word remember. Okay, there are 3 syllables in the word remember. See, remember. Okay, so unit of pronunciation is called a syllable. In this way, you have to divide the word into syllables at first. Okay, now here you can see monosyllabic words, disyllabic words. Let me explain. Monosyllabic words are those having one syllable only. That means you can't divide the word into syllables, like first. First. There is only one unit of pronunciation, one syllable, and that's why it is called monosyllabic word. After that, disyllabic word. Disyllabic words are those having 2 syllables, like beauty, hardship. Okay, 2 syllables. Now, trisyllabic words are those having 3 syllables. As I have told you, like remember, rhythmical. These are trisyllabic words having 3 syllables. Now, tetrasyllabic words are those having 4 syllables, like conversation, arithmetic. Finally, pentasyllabic words. Pentasyllabic words are those having 5 syllables, like electricity. Electricity. 5 syllables are there. So, it is a pentasyllabic word. In this way, you have to divide word into syllables. Okay. Now, word stress. There are some rules regarding word stress, and we are now going to discuss. Okay. First rule or first point, you can say, is that we generally put stress or give stress on the original word, and you can say root word. Which is original word or root word? Let me give you an example. Here you can see breakable. In the word breakable, able is suffix, right? So, and break is the original word or root word, and able is suffix here. And what we have to do is, we have to put stress on original word or root word. Okay. Let me give you another example. Become. In the word become, which is the main word? or original word or root word. Come is the original word, and be is prefix here, prefix, right? So we should not put stress on suffixes and prefixes, we should put stress on original word. Okay, let me pronounce artist, breakable, friendly, painter, become, remind. Okay, so in this way you have to put stress on original word. Now number 2, whenever you are going to pronounce a noun, you have to put stress on the first syllable, and whenever you are going to pronounce a verb, then you have to put stress on the last syllable. Okay, very simple and very easy. Okay, let me pronounce. Here you can see the words are same, but you all know that a word can be used as a noun also and as a verb. Okay, but the stress position will be changed whether it is a noun or it is a verb, depends on that. Now let me read. Okay, so decrease, decrease. Okay, insult, insult, object or object, protest, protest, record or record, rebel, rebel, suspect, suspect, transfer, 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 sorry, transfer. So in this way, whenever you are going to pronounce a noun, you have to put stress on the first syllable. Here D, in, or, pro, that is in the word protest, we are giving stress on pro. Okay, and if you pronounce the word protest as a verb, then you have to put stress on test. Okay, protest. So in this way stress position changes. Now point number 3 is in compound nouns, that means two words merged into one, then the stress is on the first part or first syllable. Like here you can see football, notebook, toothbrush or bookshop. So here in the compound nouns, whenever you are going to pronounce a compound noun, then you have to put stress on the first part. Now point number 4 is the stress is generally at the end of words ending in year. Very easy, like engineer, pioneer, volunteer or auctioneer. So in these words I am putting stress on words ending in year, that means last syllable. Engineer, pioneer, volunteer. So in this way you have to pronounce. Number 5 is stress usually falls after prefixes. After prefixes. Here you can see some examples: demolish, dismiss, prepare or untie. In all these words, stress falls after prefixes. In the word demolish, which is prefix D, right? So so you have to pronounce demolish. In the word prepare, which is prefix pre, right? So you have to put stress on pair, that is after pre. So prepare, untie. In this way stress usually falls after prefixes. Now there are some other rules also. Stress usually falls on the syllable before the following letters, like before sun, like attention, demonstration, explanation, invitation, okay, position, quotation. So before sun you have to put stress. Similarly, similarly before ik or ikal you have to put stress, like automatic, historic, okay, or before ikal also, like philosophical, political, illogical, okay. Before iti or graphy og, like authority, majority, society, geography, morphology, okay. So in this way you have to pronounce. Before well or yes or yent, like convenient, experience, efficient, potential, individual, intellectual, okay. So in this way you have to pronounce. Okay, and in this part, yes, in this word there is a discussion regarding contain words and function words, that is grammar words, and we have already discussed. Okay, so this is what about sentence stress and word stress. Tell me if you have any doubt. Uh, then we will move to our next topic, that is intonation patterns.
No doubt, ma'am.
Okay, so all of you, do you have any doubt? Okay, okay, then just go through the rules, okay, and you have to practice also. It's not sufficient to know all the rules, you have to implement those rules also, and for that you have to practice. It's it's not possible that whenever you are going to pronounce you have to remember all the sets of rules, and after that you are going to pronounce. No, it's not like that. You have to practice, and then automatically you will be able to achieve that perfection regarding pronunciation. And for perfection you have to practice. We will definitely practice some passages where you have to pronounce correctly, and you have to put stress on proper words. But before that we have to complete the topic intonation patterns, and then we will move to practice. Okay, so intonation patterns, right? Let me share. Okay. So, intonation. What is intonation? Intonation is referred to as the music of any language. In English language, intonation or tone is used by speakers to express emotion, questioning, and differentiate parts of a sentence. Like, let me explain easily. Intonation is nothing but tone which help us to express our emotion. Let me give you an example. When I say okay, so when I say, do you need some help? That means I want to help that person. Okay, someone is asking for help and I want to help wholeheartedly, and that's why I'm asking, do you need some help? And if I say, do you need some help? That means I don't want to help that person, right? Uh, if I say, are you crazy? Are you crazy? That means what can I say? Um, yes, maybe I'm angry or I'm just criticizing that person when I say that I crazy. So here I'm using different kinds of intonation patterns to express our emotion. Like when I say, do you need some help?
Ma'am, intonation. Hello.
Yes, intonation. Yes, Dheeraj.
Intonation, ma'am, depends situation, no, ma'am.
Yes, situation. Yes, of course, obviously.
How to create sentence?
Yes, actually, intonation is a tone. There is rising tone or falling tone, rising, falling tone, falling, rising tone. Suppose you are criticizing someone. Okay, when I
Yes,
say,
happiness, sorrow, yes, it is.
yes, Dheeraj, you are right. So, whenever you are saying that, are you crazy? That means you are criticizing some person, and that's why you are using here rising tone. Rising, our tone is rising here. That is intonation. Intonation patterns. There are different types of intonation patterns like rising, falling, falling, rising, falling, flat, high, and low. Okay, so our tone. When I criticize someone, I should use or we should use, we can say, rising tone. Are you crazy? Rising tone. Whenever I am giving I am giving suggestion or proposal someone, like would you like to have coffee or tea with me? So here I am using falling tone, because for giving suggestions we should use falling tone. So in this way there are some rules and we are going to discuss about those rules. Okay, intonation patterns, that means tone, and intonation is referred to as the music of any language, that means our tone. Okay, now where should we use falling tone and where should we use rising tone? We are now going to discuss. Falling tone is generally used at the end of a sentence. Here you can see falling tone, end of a sentence. So falling tone is generally used at the end of a sentence, like she is a teacher, I might be late today, I live in Kolkata. So here you can see that my tone is falling, right? She is a teacher, I might be late today.